Hello students, this is your Mr. GST who actually makes GST a good and simple tax for you. This is a quick revision video for offences and penalties. So, normally offences and penalties chapter is very important chapter, and this is the area where most of the students get literally confused all that. So, in this video, I'm trying to quickly revise the concepts, bringing you clarity on this particular chapter. Right? First of all, understand the basic difference between offense and prosecution. Offense means nothing but what? You are violating the law. You are breaching any particular provision. Prosecution is nothing but initiating the legal proceedings against you. So here we are going to take up criminal proceedings against you because the offense can be cognizable offense or non-cognizable offense, that is non-bailable or bailable. All those things we are going to see. So offense is different, prosecution is different. Keep it aside. So first let us move on to the section here. Very important section, section 122 regarding penalties. And section 122 subsection 1, if you see, penalties they have given. Sir, for this the important thing is penalty amount is okay, easy. But what are the offences covered for which section 122 subsection 1 comes into picture is quite interesting, and please understand there is no other choice for you other than remembering the situations. Sir, okay sir, how do I remember this? There are 21 situations. For this I will just give you a small code here. You may feel it cringe, but still to the extent possible I have tried to make it simple. Remember the code like this. See, 6 friends are having tea. While drinking tea, they got an idea. Hey, let us go for a movie called Triple R. Okay, but Triple R is an 18+ movie actually. Okay, remember, assume, just imagine. Okay, so 6 friends while having tea, they decided to go for Triple R movie, and they also planned when they go for the movie. All the friends are saying we need ice cream, popcorn, all the stuff. So when they are discussing, so 4 of them demanded for ice cream, and 3 popcorns are decided. Now when they have entered into the theater, when they purchase the tickets and they are going to the theater, only 3 members out of that 6 members gang are 18+ actually. Only 3 members are adults. That means only they will be allowed to the theater. Remaining 3 people will not be allowed, because the central government norms that A-rated movies, obviously what, only 18+ people has to enter. So here they got disappointed and all the 6 friends returned to their homes. This is the story. With this story, just remember, there are 6 friends having tea. Triple R, that means 3R, 4 ice creams, 3 popcorns, 3 adults, and central government. This is the code you have to remember. Okay, 60, 3R, 4I, 3P, 3A, and CG. So these are the 21 cases. Okay, now sir, what are these 21 cases? Now please understand the codes what I have made here, not for just for namesake I have made these codes. All the letters will have certain keywords here. Let us see that. Now 60, if you see, so number 1 TDS, number 2 TCS. TDS and TCS, if you see, sir, with respect to TDS and TCS, sir, what is that you are violating? Sir, you are failing to deduct TDS as per section 51, or you are deducting an amount less than amount to be required, or you failed to pay that amount to the government. TCS also same story. You failed to collect, or you collect amount less than required, or you failed to pay that to the government. TDS, TCS provision section 51, 52, you are violating. 2 cases over. Next, transporting the goods without proper documents. Transportation of goods without proper documents. Your turnover is being suppressed to evade taxes. This offense you are doing. Or you are tampering any material evidences to evade the taxes, or you are tampering any goods which are detained or seized or attached. Okay, under GST law, any goods which are detained or seized or attached, those goods you are tampering. So tampering the material evidence, tampering the detained or seized goods or attached goods also. These are the 6 offenses, 6 T's. Okay, these are 6 offenses. Next, triple R, RRR. Sir, what is this RRR? Sir, offense related to refund. Refund you have obtained fraudulently. This offense you might have committed. Registration you have not applied even though you are liable for registration, or registration you have got but giving the false information. These are the another 3 offenses. Next, 4 ice creams. 4 ice are there? No. Invoice where it has to be given, you have not given the invoice, or you have given the invoice which is fake invoice, or you have taken the ITC on the invoice which is a fake invoice. That means imagine here I am giving fake invoice to you, there is penalty on me, and you are taking fake invoice and you are taking ITC on that fake invoice, there is penalty on you also. So section 122 will come for both of us, because me giving the fake invoice to you and because you taking ITC based on the fake invoice. This is the another offense. Or ISD non-compliance, you are contravening the provisions of availing ITC and distributing ITC under section 20, okay, as an input service distributor. This you are violating. So these are the 4 I's. Next, 3 popcorns. What are that? So regarding payment of tax, 2P is nothing but payment of tax, Understand, you have not paid the tax and you have not collected it properly, not paid it properly. Sir, you have collected it, but you have collected in contravention. See, understand, first of all, first offense, look at this. Payment of tax not made, but you have collected properly. Whatever the tax 18% is there, you have collected that 18%, but you have not remitted to the government. And another situation is, sir, you have collected in contravention where it is only 12%, you have collected 18%, but you have not remitted to the government. So collected also in contravention and not paid. First one, collected correctly but not paid. So here, if you see for these offenses, actually the details, I'm just giving you the code, trying my level best to make sure you remember these things. So collects any amount but fails to pay to the government beyond a period of 3 months from the date on which such payment becomes due. So you have collected the taxes correctly, but you have not paid to the government within 3 months from the due date. Okay. Next, sir, you have collected any tax in contraventions of the provisions of this. That means not required but still collected, something like that. Even the law is not saying you are collecting. Okay. And you have not paid it to the government again within 3 months from the due date. In such cases, yes, you have committed an offense liable for penalty under 122. Okay, so this is the next case. Next, sir, another last piece, you are preventing the proper officer from performing his duty. Maybe you are like stopping him from doing his duty, or you are not giving the proper documents, etc. Whatever it is, you are preventing the officer in any way from performing his duties. Next, 3A. Accounts and records. If you see accounts and records or documents or any information which you have given is false or fake with an intention to evade tax, or you have not maintained accounts or records or document which are supposed to be maintained, or you are not providing the accounts, records or any information which has been asked by the proper officer. If these are the cases, you will come to section 122 penalty. And next, finally, CG, confiscation of goods. Sir, you are dealing with goods which are liable for confiscation. So then for you, penalty under 122 will come into picture. Maybe you may be transporting them, you may be storing them, you are warehousing them, whatever it is. You are dealing with the goods knowing that these goods are liable for confiscation. Okay. Next, you are issuing the invoices by using GSTN of the another person. So confiscation and GSTN, that is the code CG. Sir, you are issuing the invoice with another person's. I am giving invoice to you, but I am using your friend's GSTN. That way, if I am doing, then I will come under section 122. Okay, so these are the offenses. These are the 21 offenses. One second, just if you want, you can take the screenshot. So these are the 21 offenses in simple form. Okay, so that way you can just remember. But please understand, there is no other option for you. You should definitely remember this violations. Okay, these are the offenses, and if these offenses are done, what is the penalty under section 122? Now, sir, the penalty under section 122 is 10,000 rupees. That is CGST 10,000, SGST 10,000. If it is IGST, 20,000, or 100% of the tax evaded, or tax not deducted or not collected, or ITC or refund claimed, whatever it is, whichever is higher. That is 20,000 or 10%. 100%, whichever is higher. 20,000 or 100%, whichever is higher, that is the amount. So this is what the concept. Next, so this is very important section which you should definitely remember. Now coming to the next one, sir, 122 subsection 1A. 122 subsection 1A, if you understand, sir, any person who is retaining or retaining the benefit of any transaction committed under section 122 subsection 1 clause 1279. That means, you remember, like, the points you should definitely remember here. What are the points? In simple words, sir, here first one person committed an offense, and for that fellow we have discussed the penalty. Here, any person who is, like, let us assume, giving idea and taking some benefit, for example, any chartered accountants or tax consultants, anybody involved in giving these ideas to commit these offenses. What offenses? Supply without making invoice, without raising any invoice, just supply the goods or services. So supply any goods or services without issue of any invoice, or issue the invoice or bill without supply of goods. That means either invoice is not given, or supply is not made and fake invoice is given. Okay, in such cases. Next, you are taking ITC without actually receiving the goods or services. That means using fake invoices, bogus ITC you are claiming, or you are taking or distributing ITC in contravention with section 20, that is ISD non-compliance. We have seen no cases. So for these four offenses, Not only the person who has committed the offense, any person who is beneficiary of these transactions, that fellow is also liable to pay penalty. But section is 122 only, subsection is 1A. I repeat, for these 4 cases where invoice is not issued, supply is made. The next one, supply is not made but invoice is issued, that is fake invoice. Third one, bogus ITC, that means on fake invoices taking ITC. Next one, contravening ISD provisions. For these offenses, whoever is like beneficiary, not only the person who is committing the offense, any other person who is beneficiary for that fellow is also liable for penalty. How much penalty? For example, any tax consultant is involved in behind these people who are issuing the fake invoices, all that stuff. So on that cases, sir, the person who is doing that fake invoices, that fellow is also supposed to pay penalty, and the tax consultant who is behind this also is supposed to pay penalty. How much penalty? 100% of the tax evaded or ITC involved in that. Okay, so 100% of the amount involved here on the taxes or ITC. That is what the concept. So this is 122 subsection 1A. The next one is with respect to section 122 subsection 1B, very important section for you, where e-commerce operator is liable for penalty. When e-commerce operator is liable for pay penalty, na, see, e-commerce operator is conducting an offense. So what is that offense? Na? He is allowing people to supply goods or services through e-commerce operator, where these people are not supposed to be like supplying the goods or services through e-commerce operator without taking registration. That means, if you want to supply the goods or services through e-commerce operator, you can do it even without taking registration. If that relaxation is given to you and you are supplying, no problem. But you are not giving that you are not getting that relaxation. You are supposed to take registration. Still, you are not taken registration and supplying through e-commerce operator. So any person who is defaulting in registration without taking registration is supplying through e-commerce operator. Certain people are allowed to do that, but those who are not allowed to do that, those people should definitely take registration and supply the goods or services through e-commerce operator. But they have not taken registration. E-commerce operator is allowing them to make the supplies through them. Then e-commerce operator will be liable to pay penalty under 122 1B. Next case. What is the next case? Sir, certain people are not allowed to make interstate supplies through e-commerce operator. If you are not at all taken registration, you cannot make interstate supplies. So e-commerce operator is allowing the supplier to make interstate supplies even though he is not allowed by the law. Then there is a mistake from e-commerce operator. Next, third one. Sir, the third one is e-commerce operator is failing to furnish these details in GSTR 8. That is, in GSTR 8, what he will do? Sir, he is failing to furnish the outward supply of goods made by outward supply of goods or services, whatever it is, made by the people who are not registered. That means unregistered persons who are supplying their goods or services through e-commerce operator. E-commerce operator has to give those details in his GSTR 8 that he is not doing. In such cases, sir, he is liable to pay penalty, the same penalty under section 122 subsection 1, what we have seen. Sir, the 20,000 rupees or 100% of amount of tax involved. Okay, so that is what the point, whichever is higher. Next, so this is similar to section 122 subsection 1 penalty. Please understand, when e-commerce operator will come into picture, when he is liable for penalty under 122 1B, number one, sir, supply is made by a person who defaulted in registration. He is supplying through e-commerce operator. Number two, a person is making interstate supplies even though he is not eligible to do that. Next, number three, e-commerce operator is failing to give the details of the outward supplies made by the people who are unregistered. Okay, so who are exempted from registration. So those details, whatever the supplies they are making, those details should be given in GSTR 8 that e-commerce operator is not doing. In these three cases, in these three failures, e-commerce operator is liable to pay penalty under section 122 1B, 20,000 or 100% of the amount of tax involved in that, whichever is higher, that is important. Okay, so this is 122 subsection 1B, very important one. And the next one, 122 subsection 2. So the next one, if you see 122 subsection 2, this is exactly similar to section 73 and this is similar to section 74. Now please understand, see, when any adjudication order is passed, the adjudication order is passed and the show cause notice, everything has been referred through section 73 or 74, then penalty is also determined in section 73, 74, if you remember. Okay, so in 73, what we will see, we will be seeing this 20,000 rupees or 10% of tax, whichever is higher. In 74, you will be seeing 20,000 or 100% of tax due, whichever is higher, like this. Sir, when you remember demands and recovery we have discussed, and there is a revision video also I have posted. So if the order is passed, certain scrutiny assessment in section 61 or withdrawal of summary assessment or any audit by the department or any chartered accountant, all that. So in such cases, please understand, sir, the case will be directed through section 7374 and the order will be passed under section 7374 itself. Penalty will be determined if there is no like fraudulent intention 73, if there is fraudulent intention 74, and within 7374 itself they have given penalties and they have also given relaxation for penalties. If you are paying the amount before the show cause notice, within 30 days of show cause notice, within the order within 30 days, all these things like that, we have seen some relaxations. Okay, so 7374, I repeat, within 7374 itself there are penalties mentioned. So if your case is routed through 7374, then penalty is also determined in 7374. And if you remember 7374 is invoked, na, understand no other penalties except 129, 130, 132 will come into picture. That means simple 122 will not come into picture. If 7374 is invoked, 122 will not come into picture. No sir, 7374 not invoked sir. Some best judgment assessment section 62, 63 or 64 summary assessment, all that. So 76, all these cases. Sir, in these cases where 7374 is not invoked, then penalty will come automatically under section 122. When penalty is coming under section 122, you should understand the drawback is you don't have any relaxation. No matter when you are making the payment, automatically flat these amounts you have to pay. Straight away these penalties you have to pay. But in 7374 we have seen based upon when you are making the payment, there are relaxations also in penalty. But here if it is not routed through 7374, automatically penalty will be as per section 122. So I repeat, when the assessment is happening, maybe 62, 63, 64 or 60, 76, all that, there it will not ask you to go through 73, 74. Directly they will pass the orders using these sections and penalty will be determined as per section 122. So please be careful here. Okay, so if you want to just take the screenshot of this, take a screenshot of this. So I repeat, if the order is because of 7374, penalties will be there as per 7374, same amount what is given in section 122 subsection 2. But please understand, here there is relaxation, where if you are making the payments within this some dates, you can enjoy the relaxation in penalty. But if the order is not passed under 7374, then automatically sir order is passed under different sections, maybe 62, 63, all that, where penalty provisions are not given. So there penalty will be as per section 122. So when it is nothing but, sir, your tax has not been paid, sir, or it has been short paid, or you have taken erroneous refund, or ITC has been wrongly availed or utilized, sir. If there is fraudulent intention, then this is the amount. This is the amount 20,000 or 100% of tax, whichever is higher. No fraudulent intention, 20,000 or 10%, whichever is higher. So here, other than fraudulent intention, here reason is fraud or willful misstatement or suppression of facts. That is the case. So I repeat, see whether the order is routed through 7374 or not. If not, 122 will come into picture. 122 subsection 2. So please be careful here. Okay, so this is with respect to 122 subsection 2. Next, 122 subsection 3 is all about anybody giving assistance, helping you. Okay, if you remember, sir, what is the difference between 122 1A and 122 3? Please understand, in 122 1A, any person who is getting benefit of the transactions what you are doing. But 122 subsection 3 is nothing but anybody who is assisting you or helping you in doing these crimes, not crimes, sorry, offenses. Okay, so any person, whatever the 21 offenses are there, in the 21 offenses, who is helping you, assisting you, that fellow, or sir, who is acquiring the possession in any way concern himself, like maybe in case of transporting them, removing them, depositing, keeping, concealing, supplying, purchasing, in any way they are assisting you with respect to goods which are liable for confiscation. Sir, this we have already seen in section 122, the 21 penalties. In 21 penalties, if you see, sir, if you are actually supplying, transporting or storing goods which are liable for confiscation, okay, which you know that they are liable for confiscation, you are supplying them, you are transporting them, you are storing them. Here, any fellow is helping you to supply them, any fellow is helping you to transport them or store them, all that. So that fellow comes under section 122 subsection 3. Okay, or any person who deals with supply of services which he knows that it is in contravention. Okay, any person who receives in any way concerned the supply in any other manner, deals with supply of services which he knows are contravening the provisions of the rules made thereunder. So in that cases, what will happen? The penalty will come under section 122 subsection 3. Or sir, not only that, sir, one more two more points are there. Any person who fails to appear before the officer of central tax and of course state tax, whatever it is, when issued the summons. So summons issued, you have not appeared. or fails to issue invoice in accordance with the provisions of this act or rules made thereunder, or fails to account for an invoice in the books of accounts. In such cases, penalty will be, here it is not fixed, just a typing mistake if you are using this book, sir, penalty will be up to 25,000. That is CGST 25,000, SGST 25,000, and IGST means 50,000. If you are doing these offences, then if you are doing these offences under section 122 subsection 3, sir, 50,000, the penalty may be extending up to 50,000. It is not fixed, it may go up to 50,000, 25,000 CGST, 25,000 SGST, it can be 10,000, 10,000 also. So based upon the severity of the offence and based upon the officer, all that. So I repeat, here it is up to, it is not fixed. Okay, and I have given a summary here. If you see, so section 122 subsection 1 applicable for taxable person only. Subsection 1A will apply to any person who is a beneficiary. 1B is applicable to e-commerce operator. Subsection 2 is applicable to again registered person only, and subsection 3 is applicable for any person. Okay, so this is what the clarity regarding the penalties under section 122. And here there is one more important thing, a new section has been added, section 122A. Actually I have not seen this section number in your latest ICS study material also. Just for a safety, I am just bringing this to you. So what is this 122A? So section 122A is nothing but when people are manufacturing some notified goods, the law is asking them to register the machines what they are using in their factory. If those machines they fail to register with the department, in such case per machine what they are using without registering with the department, okay, without informing to, that means whatever the machines, this is not for all the goods, only when you are manufacturing the notified goods like some pan masala, etc. Sir, whatever the machines you have registered with the department, fine. If you are not registered per machine, there will be a penalty of 1 lakh CGST, 1 lakh SGST, that is 2 lakh total IGST, because you have not registered that machine with the department. And that machine will also be liable for confiscation, if you don't pay that penalty and register. See, paying the penalty is required, and also you should register that machine with the department within 3 days from the communication of this order. Okay, these two things if you don't do, then that machine can be confiscated, and this amount 2 lakhs, okay, this is per machine. That means if there are 10 machines there, 20 lakhs will be the penalty. So that is the important thing. So please be careful. This is the latest one. So please be careful with this. If you want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot of this. It is not actually even an ICS study material May 25 edition, but still it is new one and important one. So please be careful. So next, if you see section 123, section 123 is nothing but, see, furnishing the information written. Information written we have already discussed in returns chapter. So if you fail to furnish the information written, then daily basis penalty is 200 rupees, that is 100 plus 100 CGST plus SGST, and 10,000, 5,000 plus 5,000, whichever is less, that will be the penalty. Okay, so a small section, but just be thorough with that. Maybe any MCQ question can be tested. And if there is any person who is required to furnish any information required under section 151. So 151 is where the power to call information by commissioner or authorized person with respect to any matter which is dealt within this act. That information if you are not furnishing, okay, in such cases, sir, if the offence is committed for the first time, 20,000 will be the penalty, that is 10,000 plus 10,000. In case of continuing offence, 200 per day and 50,000, whichever is less, that will be the penalty. Just go with that, you can manage. And next, general penalty, where any penalty is not specifically mentioned in the law for any particular offence, then the penalty can be like general penalty under section 125, which can extend up to 25,000 rupees, that is 25,000 CGST, 25,000 SGST. So it may extend, it is up to rupees 50,000, 25 plus 25. Okay, but understand, only when the penalty is not specified for that offence in the law, then only this general penalty will come into picture. Next, and how much the penalty is, like up to 50,000, I told you, 25, 25, that depends upon the severity, all the stuff of the offence. Okay, now there are certain general disciplines which are related to penalty, section 126, which has to be followed by the department when they are imposing the penalty. Sir, what are the things which they have to keep in mind when they are charging the penalty? Now please understand, you cannot charge penalty if there is any minor breach of tax regulations, or if there is any procedural requirements, if there are any procedural requirements which are not followed, or any omission or mistake in documentation which is easily rectifiable, and this is made without any fraudulent intention or gross negligence. Please understand, in such cases you cannot charge penalty. And a breach can be considered, when I can say this is a minor breach, sir, because you are saying minor breach, don't charge penalty. What do you mean by minor breach? Minor breach means where the amount of tax involved is less than 5,000 rupees. Okay, in such cases, or any omissions or mistakes in documentation, which are easily rectifiable if the same is apparent from the records. Apparent means like easily visible on the face of the record itself. Yes, there is a mistake on this. Such type of mistakes, in such cases you cannot impose penalty. That is what they are saying. But please understand, there is one more interesting point here. Mm, Sir, penalty imposed under this act depends upon the facts and circumstances of each case and degree and severity. Yes, no penalty shall be imposed on any person without giving him opportunity of being heard. And the officer while imposing penalty, he should specify the nature of the breach and applicable law under which section they are imposing the penalty, all that stuff. And any person voluntarily discloses to the officer the circumstances of the breach, all the stuff, prior to the discovery, even before the officer identifying that, you are telling to the officer, sir, this is the mistake I did, sir. So in that case, proper officer may consider that fact as a mitigating factor, quantifying the penalty. So while quantifying the penalty, they may consider this, okay, this fellow is a very good fellow, coming and disclosing all the mistakes voluntarily, so let me reduce the penalty. Like that, officer may reduce the penalty. Okay, so that is what the point. Now here, very important thing is that these general disciplines, whatever we are discussing, are not applicable, sir. These general disciplines are not applicable where penalty specified under this act is either fixed sum or expressed as a fixed percentage. That means, so long what we have been seeing, 122 subsection 1, subsection 2, 1b, 1a, all that cases, sir, where it is fixed sum or fixed percentage, then you need not follow this discipline. But if there is any variable thing, for example, in section 122 subsection 3 or section 125, they use the words no up to 25,000, up to 50,000 if it is IGST, like up to, maybe extended, like that. In such cases, sir, this general disciplines has to be followed. In other cases where it is a fixed sum, where it is a fixed percentage, general disciplines under section 126 are not applicable. That is the twist here. Okay, so please be careful with this. Next, power to impose penalty in certain cases in section 127. So this you can just go through. Okay, so if the proper officer feels penalty is not imposed under section 62, 63, 64, 73, 74, 129, 130, he may levy penalty after giving opportunity of being heard. So I give the section details also there. Okay, just go through that. And when government wants to waive the penalties, all that, by notification they can, yes, waive the penalties, all the stuff, either fully or partly. That is up to their will and wish. So with this we are done with section 128 also. So these are the penalties, all that. Now we are entering into very important section 129. Right. So section 129 is talking about what? Detention, seizure and release of goods or conveyances which are in transit. And please understand, first of all, what is detention, what is seizure? Detention is nothing but where we are denying the owner of the property to have an access of it. Seizure is nothing but department taking complete control over the possession of the goods. So that is what detention, seizure. Detention they will do only when they have the doubt that these goods are liable for confiscation. When confiscation will come, we will see in section 130 later on. Okay, so when they have the doubt these goods may be liable for confiscation, then only they will detain them. They will seize them when they are having the reasons to believe, yes, these are the goods liable for confiscation, then they will seize the goods. Now please understand, see, seizure and detention, if you remember inspection such seizure chapter what you have read, see, section 67 will come into picture. You will go for inspection, such and seizure, all the stuff, normally for any location, any premises, all the stuff. But sir, section 68 will come into picture specifically when the goods are in transit. Okay, sir, when the goods are in transit, you are verifying, inspecting or searching or the seizing the goods. In that case, section 68 will come into picture, and specifically the 129 section penalty will be triggered only in this case. Sir, when section 68 is coming into picture, automatically penalty comes under section 129. Please have that clarity. That means when the goods are in transit, sir, inspecting, searching them, all the stuff will come under section 68, and the penalty will automatically come under section 129. I repeat, 129 will come into picture only when you are transporting the goods or storing the goods while they are in transit. In such cases only, if the department has identified you have contravened the provisions of this act, then the goods, the conveyances, the documents, all these things are liable for what? Detention or seizure, as the case may be. Okay, so 129 penalty will come into picture only when goods are in transit or they are stored during the transit. Okay, in such cases. And please understand, seizure or detention can happen for the goods, for the conveyances, or even for the documents also. That is what we have seen. So it can be for goods, it can be for conveyances, it can be for documents. These can happen. Okay, sir, they have detained or seized. Now please understand, sir, how do they release that goods or conveyances or documents, sir? For that, for releasing that, you should pay a penalty. Okay, so please understand, section 129 talks about very important concept for you. Please mark it important and please remember these things. Very good chances of being tested. Sir, when your goods or conveyances or documents are seized, now for releasing them you should pay the penalty. See, already you have paid the taxes, applicable taxes, interest, late fees, whatever it is, all those things, penalty under section 122, everything, whatever are there that you might have paid. But because 129 is triggered, sir, we have identified that you are transporting the goods, contravening the provisions or the conveyance, all that stuff, so we are seizing or detaining them. No, so in that case 129 penalty will come into picture. So 129 penalty, what it says, it says simply, what is the amount of penalty? Owner of the goods, sir, to release the goods, first of all let us understand, this is for release of the goods. Yes, this is for release of the goods. Release of goods, sir, when we will release the goods, we will release the goods when the owner, see, there are two possibilities. One, owner is coming forward and saying, yes, I will pay whatever the penalty is there, I made a mistake. Second thing, owner is saying, I will not go pay any penalty, all that, like that. Owner is not coming forward. Sir, owner is coming forward, innocent fellow, and ready to pay penalty. Then in such case, if it is a taxable goods, 200% of the tax payable will be the penalty. Such a cheap amount. Okay. So if it is taxable goods, owner is coming forward. For example, you are transporting the goods worth 10 lakhs, GST 12 lakhs. Sir, you have contravened some provisions and they have been caught in transit. Then what is the penalty? 12 lakhs is the tax liability, no, 200% of that. That means 24 lakhs will be the penalty. Okay, enjoy. If, sir, what if they are exempted goods, sir? Tax itself not there. Then 4% of the value of the goods, 4% of the value of the goods. That means 2% CGST, 2% for SGST, 4% of the value of the goods, or 50,000, whichever is less. Guys, please understand, remember carefully, when this value concept is there here, when exempted goods are involved, the amount will be less here and here, both the cases. When taxable goods are there here, okay, you are not comparing anything, but here if you see, you will compare certain things and you will see whichever is high. So please be careful. Exempted goods are there, na? Whichever is less, provision will come into picture. So what is the provision here? Goods are like caught in transit. Sir, when goods are caught in transit, for releasing the goods, one is coming forward and ready to pay penalty under section 129. Sir, then taxable goods are 200% of the tax. 200% of the tax, not value. Exempted goods are 4% of the value. 4% of the value or 50,000, whichever is less. 4% means 2% plus 2%, 50,000 means 25,000 plus 25,000, whichever is less. You should definitely remember this, no other choice. Next, owner is not coming forward and he is saying, I will not pay penalty, all that stuff like that. He is not coming forward for paying any such penalty. That means he is not cooperating. In such cases, sir, 100% of the value of the goods or 200% of the tax payable, whichever is high. 100% of the value of the goods means 50% CGST, 50% SGST. Okay, IGST means 100% of the value. But tax, 200% of the tax payable. 200% of the tax payable. Yes, 200% of CGST or 200% of SGST. You cannot take 400% of IGST. Please understand, tax percentage is what proper, because 10,000 CGST, 10,000 SGST means it will become 20,000 IGST. So 20,000 into 200%. Okay, it is not 400%. Please maintain that clarity here. 100% of the value, that is 50% CGST, 50% SGST. But tax payable or tax payable, 200% of tax payable. Compare that, whichever is high. I have a small example also, I'll show it to you, don't worry. Sir, if it is exempted goods means nothing to worry. Again, 10% of the value, not 100% of the value, 10% of the value. 5% plus 5% or 50,000. Standard amount, not any percentage. 50,000, 25,000 plus 25,000, whichever is less. Okay, so that will be the penalty for releasing your goods which are caught in transit violating the provisions. So section 129. Now there is a small problem here, so just take a screenshot of this and you try. As I told, value is 100 lakhs. If it is taxable 12%, if it is exempt, what is the penalty? When the owner is coming forward, owner comes forward to pay penalty. Okay, this is the situation. Just pause the video, go through this. And next, if owner is not coming forward, it doesn't come forward to pay the penalty. In such case, pause the video and go through this. Please go through this carefully. Very important concept. Please be careful here with 100% of the value and 200% of taxes. Right, hope it is clear for you. Next. Now when you see, sir, either you make the payment of that particular penalty, or even if you're furnishing the security equivalent to that amount payable also, then no problem, your goods will be released. Okay. And here if you look at the procedural aspect, actually what they will do, they will first give you a notice within 7 days from that detention or seizure, whatever has happened, they'll give you a notice and they will ask you for your explanation, that is opportunity of being heard is given, and within 7 days of that notice they'll give you order also, but order will be passed only after giving opportunity of being heard, as I said. And on payment of penalty, whatever the penalties we have discussed, if you are paying all the penalties, like all the proceedings of the notice shall be deemed to have been concluded. So once you pay the penalty, everything is closed, get lost. No sir, we are not making the penalty, we failed to pay the amount. Sir, when you fail to pay that penalty, what will happen? Sir, within 15 days from the date of that order, if you don't pay within 15 days from the date of the order, they have the right to sell the goods or the conveyance which has been detained or seized. Okay, that is liable to be sold, and then they will recover their penalty. Okay, and if the goods are, let us assume, perishable or hazardous in nature, that 15 days can also be reduced by the proper officer as he may deem fit. Okay, so this is what the concept. Okay, this is the procedural one. Now one more important and interesting thing is, sir, for releasing the goods we have seen the penalty, but for releasing the conveyance also there is a penalty. What is that penalty? Now for releasing the conveyance, the penalty is whatever the amount determined, the penalty determined above, that means whatever as per the calculations, or 1 lakh, whichever is less. 1 lakh as per CGST, 1 lakh as per SGST, so total 2 lakhs, that will be the case. Okay, so for releasing the conveyance, yes, penalty determined above or 2 lakhs, whichever is less, will be the penalty for releasing the conveyance. This is what section 129 for you, and the penalty under section 129 for releasing the goods as well as for releasing the conveyance we have seen. And now there is a procedure for interception and detention on the release of that particular goods or conveyances, that you can just go through, read once. And no detention or seizure will happen. Sir, no detention or seizure will happen, mark it important, when no detention or seizure will happen. So sir, the consignment of goods accompanied with invoice or any other specified document, not invoice or any other document, and also e-way bill. So if the goods are accompanied with the required document as well as e-way bill, then 129 proceedings may not be initiated when it is purely spelling mistakes in the name of the consignor or consignee, but GSTN wherever applicable is correctly mentioned, or if there is error in PIN code but the address of the consignor consignee mentioned are correct, but error is in the PIN code, should not increase the validity of e-way bill. Okay, PIN code you have entered wrong, but because of that e-way bill validity should not be extended. So if that is the case, then 129 will not be initiated. Error in the address of the consignee to the extent that locality and other details of the consignee are correct. Error in 1 or 2 digits of the document number mentioned in e-way bill. Error in 4 to 6 digit level of HSN, where first 2 digits are correct and remaining, if they are not correct but still the rate of tax is same, proper, correctly mentioned, then also 129 proceedings will not be initiated. And then error in 1 or 2 digits or characters of the vehicle number here and there, suppose it is TN01, you have mentioned TN10 like that, so something like that, then 129 penalty will not be imposed. 129 penalty will not be imposed. In such cases, the penalty will be for a tune of 1000 rupees, that is 500 rupees plus 500 rupees shall be imposed and will be left. Okay, so that is what the scenario. Okay, so with this we are done with section 129. Now we are moving into a very another important section, section 130. Hope you are clear with section 129, detention or seizure of goods or conveyances in transit. Okay, please make sure you are remembering this calculation and going to the exam. Very important concept. And also I have shown you one example also with respect to numbers with respect to that particular section. Right, let us move on to section 130. Confiscation of goods or conveyances and levy of penalty under section 130. Again a very important section. So here if you see, when section 130 will come into picture, so section 130 is nothing but, first remember, confiscation of goods or conveyances and the penalty here. What do you mean by confiscation? First of all, confiscation is nothing but taking over the ownership from the owner. So here the government will become the owner of the goods and conveyance. That is what confiscation all about. Sir, okay sir, when confiscation will come into picture? First, confiscation will come into picture in 5 cases. Very important. You remember these 5 cases. Sir, when confiscation will come into picture, number 1, you are making a supply or receiving some goods, either sale or purchase. in contraventions of the provisions of this act with an intention to evade taxes. Number one, you are selling something or buying something with an intention to evade taxes. Number two, here one more thing you just understand, you are doing anything, not only selling, buying, you do anything contravening the provisions of this act with an intention to evade tax. First one is sale or purchase with an intention to evade tax. Next, you contravene any of the provisions of this act with intention to evade tax. Next, you don't account certain transactions which the tax is liable to be paid. Okay, does not account for any goods on which you are liable to pay tax. You are making a supply without taking registration, even you are liable for registration. Or you are using the conveyances. You are using the conveyances for transportation of goods in contraventions of the provisions of this act. And this can be escaped by the owner only, the owner of the conveyance only when he proves that he doesn't know about this. Okay, so otherwise, yes, confiscation will come into picture. I repeat, confiscation of goods and conveyances will come into picture only when you are making a supply or receiving a supply in contravention of the provisions of this act with an intention to evade taxes. You are contravening any of the provisions of this act with an intention to evade taxes. You are not accounting the supply of goods with an intention to evade taxes. Next, you are supplying the goods without taking any registration, even though you are liable for registration. And number five, you are using the conveyances for transporting the goods, violating the provisions of this act. And if the owner is also aware of it, if the owner proves that he is not aware of it, then okay, confiscation of conveyance will not happen. Okay, these are the 5 cases when confiscation will come into picture. Now, the very important thing is, please understand, when confiscation comes into picture, you are supposed to pay the penalties, whatever the applicable penalties. Yes, penalty under section 122, you are liable to pay. That is there. And also one interesting thing is, sir, to stop the confiscation, you have to pay something called redemption fine. That means penalty is there. Whatever the taxes, interest, penalty under section 122, all these things are there. But if you want to escape from confiscation, you should also pay something extra called redemption fine. You should also pay something extra called redemption fine. Sir, what is this redemption fine? Means nothing but, sir, to stop confiscation, again, very important concept, listen carefully. Sir, to stop confiscation, whether it is goods or conveyances. Confiscation, I told you already, confiscation is nothing but the government will take up the ownership of the goods or the conveyance. To stop the confiscation, the government is asking you pay tax, you pay penalty, and also pay redemption fine. So we call it as redemption fine, or we also call it as amount payable in lieu of confiscation. Amount payable in lieu of confiscation is also known as redemption fine. How much I should pay, sir? How much I should pay? If you want your goods to be released, if you want your goods not to be confiscated, not released, not to be confiscated, okay, not to be see, understand, we have seen in section 129 that is different story, that during the transit you did some mistake. Yes, you are transporting without following the rules, all this stuff. Sir, 129 will come into picture, detain and seizure of the goods. Yes, confiscation only in these 5 cases it will happen. If confiscation has happened, then 130 will come into picture. Okay, so that releasing goods or conveyances in section 129, that is different, 100% of tax, all that value, etc., taxable goods, exempt goods, owner is coming forward, not coming forward, all that stuff. 129 is different. 130 is different. 130 will come into picture only if the goods are liable for confiscation or conveyances are liable for confiscation. When they are liable, we have seen the 5 cases. And if confiscation comes into picture, if you want to stop your confiscation of the goods, then you should pay fine, redemption fine. How much I should pay the redemption fine? Na? Sir, redemption fine can extend up to the market value of the goods minus the tax payable thereon. That means, see, imagine if the value of the goods is 100 lakhs, GST on that is 12 lakhs, redemption fine can go up to 100 lakhs. That can be the maximum redemption fine. Please understand that. And they will ask you to pay this much and take the goods. Okay, this is redemption fine maximum. But sir, minimum how much should be there, sir? Minimum confiscation, the redemption fine will be, they will say, minimum fine, redemption fine and penalty put together. Minimum at least we want 100% of the tax payable on such goods. That means minimum amount, as I told, should be redemption fine plus penalty put together should be equal to the tax amount, 100% of the tax payable. You know, section 122, 100% of the tax involved. Yes, we can levy that, correct? So in such cases, so 100% of the tax involved. So we have already seen that in section 122. So redemption fine plus penalty put together should be minimum at least the 100% of tax involved. That means simple. Redemption fine can go from 0 to maximum 100 lakhs, the value. That means you understand. For example, sir, if you see this case, value is 100 lakhs, GST is 12 lakhs, and your goods are confiscated. Now, to escape the confiscation, what they're asking you is to pay redemption fine. How much redemption fine? Redemption fine can go maximum up to the market value of the goods, excluding taxes. So market value of the goods is 100 lakhs excluding tax. Okay, that can be the maximum redemption fine. And minimum fine can be how much? Minimum fine can be, sir, redemption fine plus penalty put together, it should be 100% of tax minimum. That means penalty is already 100% of tax we take under section 122. So that means it is 12 lakhs, and redemption fine put together it should be 100% of the tax involved. That means redemption fine, simple, just remember, redemption fine, minimum redemption fine, practically it can go from 0 to 100% of the market value, full market value of the goods other than taxes. So minimum there is something like in redemption fine and penalty put together, at least you should pay 100% of tax. Only redemption fine, how much I can charge, sir? You can charge up to market value of the goods other than taxes, that you remember sufficient. Okay, maximum, very very important, you remember this. Okay, maximum redemption fine can be market value of the goods excluding taxes. Okay, right. Next, sir, this is for confiscation of the goods. Yes, you will pay this and you will stop the confiscation. Sir, what about if there is confiscation of the conveyance? How do I stop the confiscation of the conveyance? Then you should pay simple 100% of the tax involved. 100% of the tax involved. If you pay that, then you can escape the confiscation. So confiscation of the conveyance, which is used for carrying the goods or passengers for hire, and the owner of the conveyance shall be given an option to pay in lieu of confiscation. In lieu of confiscation of the conveyance, he can pay the fine equal to the tax payable on the goods being transported. That means 100% of the tax if he is paying, then that means confiscation he can escape. Confiscation of conveyance he can escape. That is what the concept. Okay, so if you are escaping the confiscation of, if you want to escape the confiscation of the goods, yes, maximum redemption fine can be market value minus tax. Minimum redemption fine plus penalty should be at least 100% of the tax. No, sir, I want to escape confiscation of conveyance. Then you should pay at least 100%. Minimum what? Like you pay 100% of the tax involved there and take your conveyance. That is what the concept. Okay. And of course, sir, confiscation order cannot be passed without giving opportunity of being heard. You know, every order which has to be passed, opportunity of being heard will be given. Okay. Where any goods or conveyances are confiscated, the title will vest with the government. I already told you what is the meaning of confiscation. And the proper officer who is adjudicating the confiscation shall take and hold the possession of the things confiscated, and every officer of police on the requisition of such proper officer will assist them in taking hold of all the stuff. Next, the proper officer can dispose the confiscated goods or conveyances if they are not needed in other proceedings, and give a reasonable opportunity, a reasonable time of not exceeding 3 months to pay the fine in lieu of confiscation. Okay, so proper officer can dispose the confiscated goods or conveyances if they are not needed in any other, like pending proceedings, all that. Further data is not needed, he can just give away the goods, and he should give the reasonable time not exceeding 3 months for paying the redemption fine. Okay, so within 3 months you pay the redemption fine and take the goods, no problem. That is what section 130, very 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 important section, and I have simplified it like anything for you. So please be careful with this section and revise it properly for your exam. Okay, so that is section 130, confiscation. Section 131 is simple, nothing but it says because you are confiscating the goods or conveyances, because you are charging penalty, all that stuff, it doesn't mean that he will be escaping any arrest or prosecution or registration, cancellation, all this stuff because of just penalties and confiscation. They will be still there. Arrest if there is required, that will be there. Prosecution will be there. Registration, cancellation will be there if at all needed. Okay, so that penalty and confiscation will not affect all these things is what section 131 trying to tell us. Now, another very 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 important section in this chapter, section 132. So section 132 is talking about prosecution. Prosecution is nothing but initiating criminal proceedings against you, that means taking you for jail. Okay, the birthplace of Lord Sri Krishna is what section 132. When this section 132 will come into picture, very very important, please remember, sir, what are the cases where section 132 will be triggered? Sir, 132 will be triggered in, first, you have not issued any invoice but you are making the supplies. Next one, you are issuing the invoices without making any supplies, that is fake invoices, which is leading, that is what important, which is leading to wrongful availment of ITC or refund of tax. Okay, first one, you are making a supply and not issuing any invoice. Next one, you are issuing the invoice but not making any supply, because of that what, wrongful availment of ITC is happening or refund of tax is happening. Okay, that is the case. Next, sir, you are availing ITC using the fake invoices mentioned above. Okay, or fraudulently you are availing ITC without any invoice or bill. That means ITC on fake invoices, or fraudulently you are taking ITC. Next, you have collected any amount of tax but failed to pay that to the government beyond the period of 3 months. Okay, so tax collected but not paid within 3 months from the due date. You are evading taxes or fraudulently obtaining refund, which is not covered under clauses A to D. So whatever the clauses we have seen, A, B, C, D right now, in above classes, whatever the case is not covered, any other case, through any other case, you are either evading tax or fraudulently obtaining refund. So tax evasion or fraudulent refund is happening. Or you are falsifying or substitutes any financial records or produces any fake accounts or documents or any false information with an intention to evade tax. That means fake accounts are failing to give information or giving false information. Next, you acquire possession or in any way concern yourself with respect to transporting, removing, depositing, concealing, supplying, purchasing in any other manner deals with any goods which you know that they are liable for confiscation. You are dealing with the goods which are liable for confiscation in short. Next, you are receiving or in any way connected with the supply of services which you know that they are in contravention of the provisions of this act or rules made thereunder. We have seen one of the situations in section 122 subsection 3. Or you are attempting to commit or abet the commission of any offences A to F and clause H to I of this section. That means all these points whatever we have discussed now, just now, all these things either you are attempting to commit or you just try to do that. Okay, you have attempted, not did, but you try to do it, then also this prosecution can be initiated. So in simple, when section 132 will come into picture, no invoices but you made the supply. Next, you gave the fake invoices resulting in the ITC to the opposite fellow or opposite fellow taking refund of tax. Next, number 3, tax you have collected but not paid to the government after even 3 months from the due date. Next, you are willfully evading the taxes or fraudulently claiming the refund. Next, giving fake accounts or false information etc to the department or failing to maintain the accounts, all that, okay, or failing to give information. Next, sixth one, you are dealing with the goods knowing that these goods are liable for confiscation. Next, you are dealing with services, you know that these are in contravention of the provisions of this act. And next, you are trying to commit these offenses whatever we have mentioned. These are the cases. Okay, 8 cases, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 cases. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so these things if you are doing, section 132 will come into picture, prosecution. Now this is not the end of the story. Remember carefully. So here, how much, like how the punishment will be there, sir, in the prosecution, what will be the, as I told you, there is an imprisonment here. As I told you, sir, in section 132, when section 132 gets triggered, prosecution will come into picture. And please understand here, not every time this prosecution will come into picture, not every time you will be suffered to like subjected to imprisonment. There is a monetary limit. Sir, if at all tax evaded or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized or refund wrongly taken, if this amount involved is greater than 5 crores, then the imprisonment may be extended up to 5 years. That means maximum 5 years. And of course, there will be fine. There's a different story. Okay. But maximum it will be less than or equal to 5 years, not more than 5 years, maximum 5 years. But if the amount involved is between 2 crores to 5 crores, then the imprisonment will be up to 3 years and also will be fine. That means less than or equal to 3 years. I repeat, first of all, imprisonment, if the tax evaded or ITC wrongly availed, utilized, all that stuff, or refund taken wrongly, amount is between 2 crores to 5 crores, 3 years imprisonment, that is maximum. That means it can be even 6 months also, 7 months also, or maximum 3 years, but 2 to 5 crores. Greater than 5 crores, it is maximum 5 years. That means less than or equal to 5 years. It can be 2 years also, 3 years also, 1 year, 7 months also, whatever it is, but maximum 5 years will be the imprisonment. Okay. Now, if you are issuing invoice without supplying, okay, in violation without supply in violation of GST law, leading to wrongful availment of ITC or refund of tax, as we have discussed, I have given fake invoices. Because of that, opposite fellow has taken wrong ITC or refund of taxes. In that case alone, even if the amount is between 1 crore to 2 crore, imprisonment will come into picture. Generally, imprisonment prosecution will come into picture if the amount is more than 2 crores. But in this case only, in fake invoice case only, even if the amount is from 1 crore to 2 crores also, imprisonment will come into picture, but it will be maximum 1 year and also fine will be there. Imprisonment up to 1 year, up to 3 years, up to 5 years. That is what important. That means maximum 1 year, maximum 3 years, maximum 5 years. That is what the case. Okay. And for every repeated offense under section 132, whatever you have seen, no, that 9 cases, sir, for every second and subsequent offense under section 132, no matter what is the money involved, even if it is 1 rupee, no matter what is the monetary liability, sir, monetary limit is not there here. Even if it is 1 rupee, that means you are a repeated offender, you got used to do the offenses. Okay, then imprisonment can be up to 5 years, maximum 5 years again. Okay, sir, maximum 5 years. What is the minimum imprisonment? Is there any minimum imprisonment? Yes, the minimum imprisonment shall be 6 months. Okay, in the absence of special and adequate reasons to the contrary to be recorded in the judgment of the court. That means, except any special circumstances existing, etc., etc., apart from that, sir, minimum imprisonment will be 6 months for all these things. But maximum, as we have seen, if it is fake invoices, even 1 crore to 2 crores, 1 year. So if it is in all other cases, all offences, etc., so 2 crores to 5 crores, 3 years, more than 5 crores, 5 years. But if you are a repeated offender, no matter what is the monetary limit involved, automatically minimum 6 months, maximum 5 years will come into picture. This is with respect to imprisonment. And here there are some more other offences here which are talking about imprisonment. That is number one. Sorry, that is the last one. Sir, because of falsification of any information or records with an intention to evade taxes or abetting the commission of the said offense. Okay, so please understand, if there is falsification of information or records, if you are maintaining or giving any false information or records, for that, what is the imprisonment? Sir, imprisonment here, monetary limit is not applicable, but imprisonment will be up to 6 months or with a fine or with both. That means they can either you are committing or helping to commit, that is what, abetting the commission, so you are helping to commit that. So in that case, minimum nothing is there, maximum 6 months. So 0 to 6 months can be the imprisonment if you are maintaining false records or giving false information, all that stuff, okay, with an intention to evade taxes. So I repeat, here imprisonment can be there, or only fine can be there, or both will be possible, but maximum here imprisonment will be only for 6 months, so please be careful with that. Okay, so this is what with respect to the imprisonment provisions. Okay, now coming to the continuation of this story. Sir, when I have committed an offense, please understand, there is something called compounding of offenses. There is something called compounding of offenses. Sir, before going to what is this compounding of offenses, we should understand offenses are two types: cognizable offense, non-cognizable offense. That means cognizable offense, please understand, this is a serious category of offense in respect of which police officer has the authority to make an arrest without warrant and to start an investigation with or without permission of the court, bail, uh, permission of a court. Okay, so full stop. Bail shall not be granted by the officer, can be considered by judicial magistrate only. Simple, cognizable offenses. Hmm. Uh, 1 second, I'll just tell you. What is the meaning of cognizable offense and non-cognizable offense? Cognizable offense means it is a serious category offense. Okay. But non-cognizable offense means it is relatively less serious offense. Okay. So first of all, understand serious offense. We can go without even warrant also. We can proceed without even warrant. We can arrest him without warrant. But non-cognizable offense, not that great serious. You should take a warrant and then only arrest. And please understand, when arrest is happening, bail will be granted, correct? You might have heard about bail. See, always, bail can be granted either by the police station. That means station officer can grant the bail. We call it as station bail generally. And court bail. Remember this, station bail and court bail. Sir, generally, when offense itself is small, station itself will give you the bail. The police officer itself will give you the bail. The same way here, GST department, sir, the proper officer itself will give you the bail. Okay, will arrest and will give you the bail. But if it is a serious offense, officer cannot give you the bail. You should go to the judicial magistrate only and take the bail. So that means you tell me, sir, non-cognizable means serious offense. Can you give the bail? No, sir. It is non-bailable, sir. It is non-bailable. That means officer cannot give the bail. You should go to a bail. Only you should go to the judicial magistrate. Sir, non-cognizable offense, small petty offense only, sir. That means not that great serious offense, sir. That means it is bailable. You need not go to magistrate, sir. The officer itself, bail can be granted by AC or DC. Okay, no need to go to the magistrate itself. Okay, that is what the concept. Okay, sir, in GST, what is cognizable, what is non-cognizable, sir? Sir, in GST, if you see, what is cognizable and non-bailable? Sir, offenses under section 132 ABCD. So all these first four cases are there, no, ABCD. That is nothing but no invoice, fake invoice, ITC on fake invoices, and tax collected but not paid within 3 months. Okay, these four things. These four things are cognizable, non-bailable only when the amount exceeds 5 crores. That is very, very important. Very important point. Please remember. Very important point. No invoice, fake invoice, or ITC on fake invoices, and tax not paid even after 3 months of the due date. Okay, and if the amount exceeds 5 crores, amount of tax exceeds 5 crores, then this is a cognizable offense, non-bailable. That means no warrant is required to arrest you, and bail cannot be granted by AC or DC. You should only go to the magistrate for bail. That is what the concept. Okay, and non-cognizable, all other offenses are non-cognizable, sir. You can happily get the bail from the AC or DC only, and to arrest you they should give the warrant. Okay, so that is what the point. So this is what with respect to that. And here the term tax shall include all the amount of taxes evaded or the amount of input tax credit wrongly availed, refund wrongly taken under the provisions of this act, SGST Act, IGST Act, UTC. Obvious, a small point, nothing required. So hope you are clear with this. Very, very, very important. Please remember this. If you want to pause the video, just go through the content also. What is it? Just read once and you can proceed further also. Okay, so that is what cognizable, non-cognizable we have seen. So cognizable offense, what is cognizable offense? 132(1) A, B, C, D and greater than 5 crores tax involved. Then no warrant, straight away they can arrest. No bail by AC or DC, you should go to magistrate only. All other offenses non-cognizable and hence bailable offenses. Station bail, that is officer ACD or DC will give you the bail, but they should give you a warrant for arresting you. Okay, that is what the concept. With that we are done with section 132 as well. Okay, hope it is clear for you. See, very, very important sections. We have literally simplified it to the core. Hope you have understood that. So if you see the next one, section 133 here, see what is this section 133 is nothing but any person who is in connection with collection of information under statistics under section 151, or who is compiling or computerizing any information thereon, or if any officer of central tax having access to information specified under section 150 subsection 1, or any person engaged in connection with the provisions of services of common portal or agent of common portal. See, these people are having some sensitive information with them. They should not willfully disclose any such information or contents of any written furnished under this act, except otherwise for executing their duties or for the purpose of prosecution of any offense, or under any other act, under this act or under any other act for time being in force. So only to execute their duties, or only when during prosecution if the information is asked from them, they are to give it. Other than that, anytime, simple department people or any people who are interested with certain duties here leaking the information, in such cases they will be punishable with imprisonment, which may extend up to 6 months. That means less than or equal to 6 months imprisonment will be there, or fine maximum 25,000. It can extend up to 25,000. That means maximum fine can be 25,000, or sometimes they will get a bumper offer, both imprisonment as well as fine. Okay, that is there. But if these people, if such person is a government servant, then for prosecuting him, obviously previous sanction of government is required. If he is not a government servant, if he is not a government servant, then previous sanction of commissioner is more than sufficient. That is what the concept. Okay, so that is what section 133. So remaining section, section 134, 135, 136, all these things you can just go through. 137 offenses by companies, all that. Now the very, very important section, the last section in this chapter, section 138, compounding of offenses. As I was discussing in cognizable and non-cognizable offenses, so we are discussing, I just referred compounding of offense word also. So compounding of offenses, section 138, very, 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 very important. Sir, what is this compounding of offense? Okay, let us see in this section 138. Right. So now, sir, what do you mean by this compounding of offense, sir? See, as we have discussed prosecution in section 132, in prosecution, what is happening? In prosecution, we are just sending you to the birthplace of Lord Sri Krishna, jail. So you don't want to go that. You don't enjoy that place. Okay. So now what you're asking, sir, don't send me to jail. Okay. So that way, when you don't want to go to jail, you have already paid tax, interest, penalty, whatever is there. Okay. Now, if you pay some amount, then I will not send you to jail. That is what they are saying in section 138. It's simple. Here you are not done any murder or any other serious crime. This is all about you evading taxes. That means you did something wrong with respect to money. So we want to punish you monetarily. So we will charge extra amount from you. That is called compounding fees, and will give you immunity from going to jail. Okay, so no need to go for jail if you are paying this much amount. So regarding that, we will discuss the details here. Certain cases this compounding is not allowed. That means you should definitely go to jail. Happy vacation. But in some cases, majority of the cases it will be given, but in some cases it will not be given. So for giving that, what is the procedure and what is the fees, compounding fees also we are going to discuss here. Now see, first thing, when you want to go for compounding, you should make an application to the commissioner. Sir, give me the immunity, I don't want to go to jail. So either before institution of any prosecution or during the prosecution also, after the institution of prosecution also, happily you can go for compounding. Okay, once the application is received, the commissioner, what he will do, he will call for a report from the proper concerned officer. Give me his horoscope, how this fellow is a good boy or a bad boy, all the stuff. Give me the details. And after being satisfied that the applicant, the concerned officer should say, sir, applicant has given full and true disclosure, sir, during the prosecution or during the investigation or something, whatever it is. Okay, he should have given full and true disclosure. Now, this important thing is whether he has cooperated or not, it doesn't matter during this inquiry, all that. Sir, he has given full and true disclosure, not sufficient. He might have cooperated and gave the information, he might have not cooperated, and later on we got the information, that is different. But you got full and true disclosure, that is very, very important. Then within 90 days from the date of receipt of application, the commissioner will grant the immunity from prosecution, indicating the compounding amount. This is the compounding amount, you please pay that. Or proper officer may feel, commissioner may feel, no, we cannot give you compounding, we cannot give you immunity, get lost, like that they will reject the application. And the application shall not be decided, without being opportunity of being heard, we will not decide the application. And the application shall not be allowed unless the tax, interest, penalty, whatever is there, the outstanding amounts that you should have paid, and then only you should apply for that. Otherwise application will not be entertained. And once the application is made, within a period of 30 days you will get the order of compounding order, and you should pay the compounding amount as ordered by the commissioner and shall furnish the proof of payment. Okay, so application has come and we have seen, within 90 days, the commissioner will grant you immunity if at all he has decided, or he will reject the application. Once he has given the order, within 30 days you should make the payment of that compounding fees and should submit the proof of payment. If you have not paid that within 30 days, what will happen? Whatever the compounding order passed by the commissioner shall be treated as void. Okay, shall be vitiated and will be void. That compounding order is not valid. Now you should go to jail. There is no other option. Okay, you continue with the imprisonment. As I told you, the certain offenses cannot be compounded. Very, very, very important concept. Please remember. When compounding of offenses is not allowed. Sir, compounding of offenses, if you remember, there are 9 cases what we have seen. Sir, compounding of offenses is not allowed if at all it is a repeated offense. So for second time offense, it is not allowed. But 132 subsection 1 clause B, that is fake invoices case. Okay, the fake invoices case, you are issuing fake invoices, if you remember. For issuing fake invoices, I repeat, issuing fake invoices, not taking ITC on fake invoices, issuing fake invoices. Sir, for issuing fake invoices, even first time also we will not give you compounding, we will not give you immunity. Okay, and if you are already convicted for an offense under this act by any court, you are convicted by court under this act, then also again compounding is not allowed, or any other class of persons or offenses which can be prescribed by government tomorrow. That means, in simple words, all the offenses under section 132 subsection 1 except issuing fake invoices, I repeat, except issuing fake invoices, all cases compounding is allowed, but compounding is only once. You cannot go again and again for compounding. Okay, once you did the mistake, now you got the compounding immunity, at least from now you become a good boy. No sir, I keep on repeating, I keep on paying compounding fees, all the stuff, and I will get the immunity now. That is not possible. Okay, so I repeat, issuing fake invoices, for issuing fake invoices, you will never get immunity. Okay, that is what the concept. Okay, compounding can never be done. That is what the concept. Okay, so okay sir, fine. Now what is the fees we should pay for compounding, sir? The law says minimum 25% of the tax involved, maximum 100% can be asked by the commissioner to pay. But even though the law says section 138 says that, sir, the compounding fees is minimum 25%, maximum 100%. Recently they have inserted a new sub rule here to rule 162. Okay, saying that the minimum and maximum compounding fees. Okay, what is the minimum and maximum compounding fees, sir? If it is for the offense specified in section 132 subsection 1 clause A, C, D, E. Clause A is no invoice. B, you cannot go for compounding, understand. C is taking ITC on fake invoices. D is what? D is nothing but even I forgot, tax not paid within the 3 months. And E, so here I have given C first of all, no invoice case. Next, ITC taken using the invoice or bill, that is fake invoices, or fraudulently you have taken ITC without any ITC without any invoice. or you collect any amount of tax and did not pay to the government within 3 months, okay, and evade taxes or fraudulently obtain refund where the offense is not covered in clause A to D. Okay, for these cases, sir, if these are the offenses, what are the offenses? No invoice, next take an ITC for fake invoice, next not pay tax to the government within 3 months after the due date, and any other offenses which are not covered above and you have evaded the tax or fraudulently taken the ITC. For these 4 cases, if you want to get compounding, I repeat, for repeated offender, compounding is not there. Please remember. Okay, for these 4 cases, if you want to compound, if the amount is above 5 crores, please be very careful. Very important concept. If the amount is above 5 crores, okay, if the amount is above 5 crores, how much is the compounding fees? Minimum 50% of the tax involved or maximum 75%. Up to between this 50 to 75, proper officer can decide how much ever he wants. That is, the commissioner can decide compounding fees how much ever he wants. No sir, it is just between 2 crores to 5 crores only, sir. Then minimum 40%, maximum 60%, how much ever he wants he can ask. So 50 to 75 he can ask here. Here he can ask, the commissioner can ask you to pay 40 to 60%. So 2 crore to 5 crore na 40% to 60%, minimum 40, maximum 60. More than 5 crores na 50 to 75, minimum 50%, maximum 75% of the tax amount involved, proper officer can ask you, commissioner can ask you as a compounding fees. No sir, other offences covered under 132 subsection 1 F, H and I. What is that F, H and I? So falsifying or substituting any financial records or producing fake accounts or documents, giving the fake information or fake documents or false information with an intention to evade tax, or goods, liable for confiscation and you are dealing with, or services, these are as per contravening the provisions of this act. In that case, flat compounding fees will be 25% of the tax evaded. There is no minimum maximum amount here. Please be careful and understand there is no other option. You should definitely remember the provisions. Don't feel like sir so many things to remember, but yes, we have to remember. Don't worry, with good revision you will remember that. And finally, L, clause L, sir, you are attempting to commit or helping somebody to commit. Okay, these offenses what we have seen from A, C, D, E, F, H, I, all that stuff. In that case also flat 25%. That means remember, simple, except these 4 cases. In these 4 cases only, that 40 to 60%, 50 to 75% will come into picture. In all other cases of section 132, please understand, simple, remember 25% flat will be the compounding fees. That way you remember, simple. Okay, next. Sir, here one interesting point is, if the offense committed by the person falls under more than one category specified in the table above, then what will be the compounding amount, sir? Then the compounding amount will be, sir, the offense for which higher compounding amount shall be prescribed, that you have to follow. I repeat, you have done an offense which is falling in more than one category above. Obviously, compounding fees will be whatever the highest limits are there, that will be taken. Okay. So that means, suppose for example, any offense is falling in this category also, then which one you should follow? Obviously, here only the maximum rates are mentioned, so you should follow this particular category only. Okay, so that is what the point. Next, on payment of such compounding fees, obviously, sir, no further proceedings in respect of the same offense, and any criminal proceedings, if already initiated, that will stand abated. As that is the reason why we are paying compounding fees. Okay, and immunity granted at any time be withdrawn by the commissioner if he is satisfied that this fellow has concealed some material particulars or given false evidences while inquiry, all the stuff. So during the compounding proceedings, he has concealed some information or given some false information or false evidences, like that, if commissioner feels, he can withdraw the immunity given to you. That means again you will be sent to the jail. Okay, so thereupon such person may be tried for the offense, yes, with respect to which immunity was granted, for any other offense to have been committed in connection with the compounding proceedings, and provisions of this act shall apply as if such immunity is never granted. Okay, simple. If the person during the compounding proceedings has given any false information or concealed any information, then immunity will be withdrawn and he will be tried. That means trial will happen as if immunity has never been granted. Simple one. Okay, so with this we are done with offenses and penalties. right? Fine, super, a very good chapter, very important chapter for the main exam, and we have quickly revised it in no time. Hope this video is helpful for you. Please do share with your friends who are writing the upcoming exams and worrying about this chapter. Wishing you all the very best. Enjoy your preparation. This is your Mr. GST signing off. Jai Hind.